I'm doing angry. I mean, the singing is so good. Some key melody about him.
For you, it's fine. It's okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Let me see, because maybe I can use a nicer background. So Alfredo, you move to my place.
Of course I move.
Yeah. I. Shit. Is it better like this, or
That's beautiful. That's
it's
beautiful.
more Balinese maybe? Or like this would be cool. If you are fine, I am okay.
C'est magnifique.
So actually, you are in the UK, right?
Yeah, yes, in Sheffield.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because over the last few days, I got many demands from US, Australia, and I only picked some of them because I saw you were mentioning about free soloing and everything. So I kind of picked it up because
Yeah.
it looks an interesting one.
Much appreciated, much appreciated. Yeah, I've spoke to other soloists. I spoke to Alex Honnold and other people like that who do much soloing. So, and I do some soloing myself. So I am aware.
You are soloing as well.
Well, I climb, so I do all the different sorts. I boulder, I lead, I sport climb, but I also solo. In the last year, I've some incredible experiences from soloing. It's just such a, such a profound thing.
Which part of the UK you are living in?
I live in Sheffield, in the Peak District, near the Gritstone.
Oh yeah, I understand. Then there's a lot of things to do there.
Jerry
Moffat was climbing a lot.
Yeah, very much so. And he climbed around here and developed the crags.
He's still active, or not much any longer? Or?
No, he no longer climbs very much. A few years ago, Alain, I wrote his autobiography. He brought out an autobiography, but it was me.
Did it.
I did the writing for it, which is a really amazing honor and really amazing experience to hear his story and to understand his story so well.
How come he quit climbing?
So I think, climbing for him was so demanding. It absorbed him so much. And then he got a family, he got business, and I think he seemed to be...
Yeah. I know he was into houses and everything. So I met him in 97 in Yosemite.
Okay.
With Ron Koch.
Yeah.
Carlos Suarez, and we had a lot of beers and everything. A very funny guy, actually. We had a lot of fun.
So funny guy, and he did.
I'm very sure that he's most likely still the same as years back. But
yeah.
No, I was always wondering why he was not climbing any longer. That's it.
He does very funny impressions of people. Did he ever do that, where he does people's voice sometimes and tells story in their voice, which is really funny. Yeah, very funny guy. But in the last year or so, Alan, I've done some soloing. I just thought, what an amazing thing this is to do. What an experience it is. Very different from your own.
I wanted to ask you now. Are you recording, or yeah?
Yes, I'm recording. Is that okay?
Okay, good. No. Yeah. No, I just wanted to get sure that, because I just realized that my battery is only 62%. That's why.
Okay, well.
Oh, it starts raining, because here this is the rainy season. So sometimes, like until the end of March, like sometimes 1, 2, 3 hours a day, we are having rains. But
where are you?
Otherwise, it's sorry.
Where are you? Vous êtes où?
Oh, actually, I live in Bali.
Right.
I live in Bali, Indonesia. So it's a small island known as the Island of Gods, and quite interesting. Although within the last 2 years, since the beginning of the COVID, it's kind of a disaster, because the GDP is mainly coming on tourism, the tourism is completely screwed up. So that's the problem.
Right, beautiful. Hey, we'll maybe talk about Bali in a bit, but you've been putting lots of videos on Instagram and stuff like that. I've been really loving them. But the thing that really takes my heart is Verdun Gorge. when you see
Oh yeah,
images of Verdun
definitely.
Gorge. My God,
This
what a
this is
place! What a
really
place!
this is really something that yes, I love Bali and everything, but if there is a place I am missing, this is Verdun Gorge
Ah,
or
it's
Buoux, because
Buoux. Wow,
you know,
beautiful.
especially Verdun, you know, for me there was like no comparison with any other place in the whole world.
Mm.
Even Yosemite, you know, I've been to Yosemite, but I haven't been as impressed by Yosemite Valley than I had been impressed by Verdun Gorge.
Right. When I got into climbing, it became the first place abroad I went. It sort of summed up everything climbing was, the adventure and the exposure and the difficulty. And it was so amazing to go there and just blew my mind. It still does blow my mind. And you spent a lot of time there as a younger person.
Yeah, you know, during that time, you know, with Patrick Béraud, Patrick Erlanger, you know, all these guys, the Troussier, the brothers, Pchit, I don't know if it rings a bell. The other guy, you know, who were opening routes like Bull, like I'm talking about ages ago, you know,
Mm.
like the new generation, they are not even knowing anything. I
No.
think the first guy who climbed not free solo, but who did it properly was John Becker in
Right. Okay.
1981. Yeah,
In Verdun or at all? You
yeah, yeah.
mean?
He was top rope, but he is the one who did climb the overhang part of the Bull
Oh,
free climbing. Yeah,
right. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Ah, because almost
like it's 1981. You know, it's like we are talking about 41 years ago.
right. And so he freed Pinchinabul
Yeah,
first. Right. Okay. I didn't know that.
but not in the right style. Meaning, he didn't do it. I don't really. I'm sorry because sometimes I'm not knowing the English exact terms. So meaning he was top rope,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
but he did it well free
The
climbing.
moves. Hmm.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I think did free climbing, was that born in Verdun? Is that where free climbing in France
Yeah, yeah.
began?
Well, yeah. That was kind of the beginning, you know, with Jean-Claude Droyer
Ah.
when he did open his route Triomphe d'Eros. And that was not really hard at that time. There was just like 6C, but you know, 6C back then, you know,
Yeah.
you know, with some space in between bolts. Most of the time, it was trad. So you know, you had to put your
Stoppers,
I don't
your
even
nuts. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you know that was you know
Pegs.
you were climbing routes like Lunabong. There was like maybe 3 or 4 pegs. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you had to put your own protection, and that's the way it was. But
Huh.
it's a very interesting period because you know a lot of you know the new generation. They know the climbing gymnasium.
Mm.
They think that pretty much it has always been like that, but actually not at all.
Yeah.
Me, you know, when I started climbing was an adventure.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I have never wanted to lose that. That's why, you know, I became a guy only free soloing. You know, I am hardly touching a rope.
Mm.
It's quite funny because Mammoth has used me to do an advertising,
Yeah.
which I was not free soloing. You know, that I've never tell to anyone that I climb free solo séance tenante. Séance tenante was just to make an advertising. I climbed the last 10 meters free solo, and
Oh,
that's it.
really? Okay. Okay.
I climbed free solo Pol Pot,
Yeah.
513A or 7C plus, with the same kind of exposure, but
Mm.
I didn't do séance tenante.
Okay.
That's
Right.
why I wanted to insist in that part. That
Yeah.
was for an advertising we did
Understood.
like long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
If you check on my Wikipedia, the French one, because the English one is not accurate, because they didn't put my rock climbing ascent. I tried a year ago to do it, to fix it. I forgot at one point I received a code on my email address. I forgot to put it, and now I am banned for 2 years. I cannot change anything on my Wikipedia.
Okay. So just to illustrate what you're saying, I did look at your Wikipedia, and it's a long list of your building climbs and does not take into consideration very much your rock climbing soloing.
On the French one, there is, I climbed 15 routes, free solo in between 8A and 8B. And I climb hundreds of 7A, 7B, 7C free solo as well.
Yeah. So I'd really
I'm not mentioning it because I'm just talking about the hardest one, because at that time climbing free solo, I'm talking about 30 years back, 8A and 8B, it was on the cutting, nearly on the cutting edge, and at least it was pretty much on my own cutting edge.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard what Alex is talking. We did some interview like a year and a half ago, and he's explaining that.
Alex Honnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said that you have soloed higher grades than he ever soloed. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's look into that rock climbing phase, Alan. Let's explore all that, because it seems so. That's when I first became aware of you doing these things, like you say, Pol Pot, and I had saw the image of Séance Téante, but that's interesting. But all these 7As, just to put across to people who might not know, Verdun, the exposure is incredible, isn't it? It's just such an exposed place, the most exposed place I've ever climbed, I think, almost counting El Capitan, because the terrain is undercut. It cuts away beneath you for hundreds and hundreds of feet.
It's a state of mind, I pretty much always had it. At least I built it, because when I was young, I was even afraid of height. So, there was nearly even no chance for me one day to become a climber, and especially one free soloing, because that was just completely unthinkable. But
right.
I had a dream, I wanted to be courageous. And somehow along the way, I became a climber. But let's say that I have gained any single degrees, any single step on my own, because I wanted to do it. Meaning, I have always been very volunteer, very much a solitary person. Always doing my stuff on my own, like. I remember I was climbing a lot in Cornage-Châteaubourg. It's in not really far away from Valence. Cliffs are not that tall, like 30 meters maximum, but I was climbing there also 8B, 8E, 8A, pretty much at one point on a daily basis. I was just thinking, I need my fix, pretty much like that.
Okay. So what you're saying is that as a child, you weren't noticeably courageous or wild when you were younger?
Meaning not at all. Meaning there was, I had absolutely nothing. I wasn't strong. I was rather a shy person. I was rather a person lacking of self-confidence. Of course, not courageous at all. And this is something that one day I have decided I am having to overtake. I dreamt to be as courageous as Zorro, Robin Hood, D'Artagnan, and then I was like a real chicken.
Right.
So I had to do something, and then I one day by hazard, as my parents were both working, I was finishing school earlier than as usual because of 2 missing teachers. And then I decided to climb the building where my parents living. I came home. I had forgotten my keys. I knew I had to wait a few hours. I had stuff to do, and then I have looked at the building for so long, on a 7-story building, but I was 11 years old, and then I have climbed that building, and that has been really the beginning of everything, the
Wow.
starting point.
Wow. And how did that feel? Was this like a sudden thing? You experienced something on the way up this building? Did you arrive at the 7th floor, changed?
It's
Suddenly
just
you
like
realized you could do this?
for me, it was a gigantic. Let's say it's even, if I had to pick one thing that I will never forget in my life, it can be this first ascent, especially coming from a guy who was afraid of everything, and especially afraid of dying. We are not so afraid of a height, actually. We are afraid to fall because we are knowing that actually we may just die crashing on the ground.
Yeah. So what did you get to the top and think, now I'm different? I am different now.
I came back from that first experience different, although I still couldn't climb rock faces because at that time I had the option to go to the Alpen climb, but I was too young. And then I had no option. There was no climbing gym, no nothing. And I became a Boy Scout. And there I met a guy, and he had the same crazy idea as me. He wanted to climb. And this is together that we did learn on our own, completely autodidact. We learned to climb, we read those books from Rebuffat, De Maison, Bonatti, Reinhold Messner. And this is how we did understand roughly the way it was working.
Wow. And then this led on to proper climbing. You buy a rope, you buy some equipment, you go to the local crags.
First, we used to climb with ropes, but most of the time we were not even using harnesses. Sometimes we were climbing with a rope in between us, but there was nothing in between us. Actually, if we had fallen, both of us were going to die.
Beautiful.
And then one day, this guy, which we have climbed for like nearly 2 years and a half, he was older than me, and he has left because he had to work. He has joined the army, and then I was left alone. And at that point, I just didn't feel like I wanted to quit. And this is when I have started to climb free solo.
Right. And so
easy thing at the beginning, and then adding more and more difficulties.
So you're climbing quite close to your limit, even if as a 16-year-old you were finding this way of being on the rock.
Yeah.
Huh.
The good thing is because people are always asking me, how is it possible? Are you afraid of height? Are you not afraid to die? And I'm saying, yes, I'm afraid to die, but I don't want to waste my life. It is something, at the end of the day, we are all dying. I prefer to die falling from a cliff or a building than dying from cancer stage 4.
Yeah, fair enough. And so, and this led on eventually to Verdun. Eventually, Verdun was the most, the place to go in France. I take it that was the crucible of where things were happening, and you make your way there, and it was an amazing place.
Yeah, that was my first time was in 1978.
Right.
So at that time, Verdun, there was only some hippies going there.
Really?
That was quite funny. That was so different than now. First of all, nowadays I'm not so sure. There is quite a while I haven't been there. But most people they are different than 4 years back.
Yeah. But back then it was like a hippie hangout and very undeveloped. Not many.
Yeah, it was like I remember, those evening we had, making big fire camps, drinking beers, discussing about the day, about being close to your limits, nearly falling. Nowadays, those are things everybody is falling every day because there is bored. that can hold one or two elephants. So
Yeah.
this aspect of something risky is pretty much gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still scary in Verdun. It's still terrifying. Even with
Yeah,
bullets, it's
well,
scary.
no, I can understand because a lot of people they are very good climbing in a gymnasium,
Mm.
but if you put them in Verdun, they are not that good any longer.
Yeah.
Oh yes, if you put them on the shortest route, although it's very hard, 9A or whatever, it's fine. But
Yeah.
um, some people they are having a kind of mental blockage with the height.
Yeah. The other thing about Verdun, as I remember, it's very romantic, isn't it? There's a real romance about the place, and it's legendary. And you mentioned earlier on Lunabong. Lunabong's a famous abseil where if you did it wrong, you'd be in serious trouble. There was risk, and the risk was all part of the story of the place and the potential accidents. And everyone would have stories about where they get caught out at night or they went to the wrong place. And this was all part of the specialness of Verdun, wasn't it? The chance that things could go really badly wrong, which made it a real place of spirit and adventure more than shorter crags.
What I have been doing a lot in Verdun, it's free soloing. Me, I'm calling easy routes, but because I was on sighting the routes, sometimes only one or two pitches routes, and I was free soloing it on site, but on the way down.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, because I have kind of understood that if for as long as you can climb down, you can go up.
Right. Yeah.
For me, it was making sense that if you are on sighting something free solo, it was better to do it from top to bottom instead of doing it from bottom to the top.
That doesn't seem to make sense.
I know, but let me explain you something also, because a lot of people, for example, if you are trying to do one arm pull-ups,
Yeah.
at first you can't because you are trying, but you cannot take off. So what you will be doing, you're gonna put a stool, you're gonna hold the bar, and you're gonna let your body going step by step down.
Right.
Because pulling your body is much harder, is requiring more stamina than releasing your body. And when you are climbing on the way down, this is what you do actually.
Okay, but there's other difficulties. You got to find where your feet go because foot placement is very difficult.
Let's say
climbing.
it's a little, if you are knowing the grade, it's already enough.
Right.
Nowadays there is chokes everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If you are knowing, okay, it's 6B, 6C, or even 7A, it should be okay.
Okay. And that's what you were doing in those early years, on sighting down and up 7As?
Yeah, even later on, the last time was like 2015, free soloing 6B, 6C on site, and without without much problems.
Okay. So, Alain, did you quickly realize that you had an access to a certain state of mind that was not... okay, so soloing was a popular sport back then. Patrick Edlinger soloed, maybe not to the same level as you. Is that right or wrong? Or I'm not sure about that.
Patrick, he didn't really solo the hard stuff.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know why he was not so into it. He used to be into it, but at the very beginning, when he did the first La Vie au bout des doigts and even Opéra Vertical, it was nearly nothing free solo except Debilov at the end, a 60.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, no, Patrick was not free soloing that much.
right, okay. He was pushing the limits of rope climbing.
Yeah,
But
yeah. In the same way, like JB, Jean-Baptiste Tribou, like Ben Moon, like all those guys.
okay.
And this is what he was trying to do. I think he did, if I'm not wrong, he did climb 2-8C.
Les
À
spécialistes?
Zincourt, in Buoux, and I think
Spécialistes? Oh no.
yeah, and even the specialist, he said that he found a technique that
Yeah.
was a little bit
Yeah.
easier. And then instead of
He'd also did plafond, didn't he? At the Volks?
I think he did the plafond,
Yeah.
8C.
Okay. But did you quickly realize that you had a different mindset that let you do this compared to the people who are around you? Or was it that you're more interested in that?
I never really, I know that Patrick, he was impressed by my mind. He's the one, when I first climbed 8B free solo, it was the year 91. I was the first one in the world. And then we made a small 6 minutes documentary. And he was the president of the Janssen Film Mountain Festival. And I guess he has influenced a lot because I got the prize for the performance.
Okay.
Meaning it's no longer my images that were getting the prize. It was my performance.
I don't understand.
Because at that time, I was quite ahead of a lot of people who were already free soloing. And I am not adding it very often because it's not really necessary, but my body is damn broken.
Right, okay. Your body is broken?
Yeah, because in 1982, I fell from 15 meters head first, and I landed hand first on some limestones,
right.
And I exploded both wrists.
Oh, really?
Including one nerve, and my hand. Let me put the phone properly. I cannot rotate. If I want to get pronation, I need to rotate my shoulder.
Okay.
And if I want to get supination, I need to rotate my shoulder as well.
Right.
And on the right side, it's about the same.
Okay.
On the right side, there is also the nerve that got damaged. So I lost a lot of sensitivity on those two fingers, and I don't have this muscle any longer, and I cannot pinch.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That was in 1982. Were you soloing? Did you fall off soloing?
Yeah, not free soloing, actually. I was rappelling, and something broke at the top as I was pulling the rope. And then that's why my body leaned backwards in a very bad way. And then instead of falling straight down, I fell head first.
Oh, not so good.
Not so good, I would say so. No, but that's the good thing. Doctors, they told me, a French surgeon, he said that actually I was never going to be able to climb back. So he just condemned me. It was 1982. I was at that time at the top level. I was promised to a nice future. And suddenly, year 1982, I was dead. Actually, I spent also time in a coma. I got my kneecap completely exploded. I got my heel as well exploded. I got my pelvis broken. I got a lot of things damaged.
Right.
They found out that I was 66% disabled. And it's simply my mind. I have decided, okay, even though this guy is telling me that I won't be able to climb back, at least I got nothing to lose to try back.
Right.
And in a funny way, you know, by hard training, it took me 2 years, and I was even better than before. And starting from that point, I became better and better, stronger and stronger, and then I have started really free soloing hard grades.
Right. Huh. So, but Alan, that question that I asked earlier on, did you decide that your mind worked differently from those people around you? Or was it your desire to solo was stronger than those other people?
I think my mind is working the way I am asking it to work.
Yeah.
I know for a lot of people, they cannot conceive. You know, when I am arriving in Verdun, and then I don't know the route. Sometimes I don't even know the grade, and I put my chalk bag around my waist and I start climbing down.
Yeah.
Telling to myself, okay, if I am reaching a point which I can't go any longer down, then I can still come back up.
Okay. So it's purely down to making that decision to be okay, and your brain can follow the command.
Meaning it's so anchored into me. It's like it's pretty much like 50 years that I have been climbing, and about 4 years free soloing. So for me, it's my life.
Yeah.
It's my life path. This is what I did choose when I was young, and although I got a lot of shit with my body, I just never gave up.
Right. Okay.
I decided what do you love? What do you want to do in your life? And I just want to climb. Then I'm gonna climb.
Yeah. And climb for you. When you say climb, you mean solo climb. That's where your spirit comes mostly.
Yeah, you know, if you are following me on Instagram, you can see that there is rarely any. You can never see a rope or whatsoever.
Yeah.
Even recently, I am having fun climbing with my cowboy boots and my snakes outfit. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Some bearlings, and because I do it if I am having margin. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
Sure. Right, so then we go to Buoux. Can we hear about Buoux? Another place I love. Did you spend much time in Buoux? Was it somewhere that interested you?
Buoux, I loved it a lot. I don't know, that was quite my style, because also of my tendon.
Yes.
I am much better holding grips this way than that way.
Yes. So Buoux is open hand pockets.
My tendon, they are completely diverted.
Right. Okay. So what you just did, if this is audio,
meaning you are unfortunately only a surgeon, a specialist on hand surgery could explain you why what I am doing is kind of miraculous.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot see when I'm climbing. You're not gonna realize that I'm that broken.
Right. Okay. And what you've just said, just for people's listening, the type of holds you get in Buoux are open hand pockets. Your tendons work better on that than on the crimpy style problem holds you might get in Verdun.
You know what is happening? Actually, you know, most of the time when I did my hardest free solo, I was choosing a low temperature.
Right.
Because the skin friction is much better on a low surface than on a hot surface. Yeah. I would say on a hot surface, it's even totally unthinkable.
Yeah. Sure. And so you find this, those holes in Buoux, you sort of find it, the climbing there was very suited to you?
Yeah, Buoux was really fitting me perfectly because that was this kind of slope that, which you need a good stamina. You need you need everything,
Power.
the way you are going, positioning your body, you need the power and everything. But because fingers and hands, this is the number one tool for a climber. Actually, holding this way is much easier for me than that way.
Right. Okay. So again, just a bit of history for people. Buoux is where grades really started to escalate in sport climbing, where you might have had the first 8A, maybe not the first 8As, but the very early 8As ever climbed in the world.
Yeah, like not La Nuit du Lézards. La Nuit du Lézards, it's 8AB, but I climbed the year 90, Rêve de Papillon.
Rêve de Papillon, yeah.
Rêve de Papillon, with this famous
crossover.
That was interesting. And near the top, it's a bit weird also, so it's not an easy stuff. Although much easier than La Nuit du Lézard. La Nuit du Lézard, it's a bit crazy because in the first third of the climb there is a big dyno move.
Right.
In the middle there is the traverse, and I was at 100% of my wingspan.
Right. So sorry, again to people, just to make it clear, you soloed La Nuit des Lézards, an 8A plus, quite a long 8A plus. The grades in Buoux, compared to a lot of modern grades, are very famously stiff. The grades are very hard, aren't they? So an 8A plus in Buoux is famously a very tough 8A plus. And this is, and it
was year 91.
91. Wow. And what was the top level of climbing back then? What was the upper level of any climbing?
I think it was 8B plus.
Right. Sure. Huh. Now maybe had Agincourt had been done by then, hadn't it? Agincourt?
Maybe Agincourt. I forgot. This is Ben Moon who climbed Agincourt, no?
Yeah. Well, okay.
There was a story in between the battles in between French and English people.
Yeah. But anyway, you.
But the funny thing is, the hardest grade I could do was 8B plus, and the hardest grade I could climb free solo was 8B.
Right.
So
okay.
I had nearly no margin. And when you climb such a route as La Nuit du Lézard, you have zero margin. At the top there is the cracks, and this is two bad slopes. I saw at that time all the best climbers in the world, all of them they were falling multiple times at the top.
Right. And
so it means doing that kind of thing free solo was kind of. I was with Laurent Belluard, who is at that time he was only a journalist for Vertical. Now he's the boss for Vertical, Grimpé, everything, and he was the one who was taking pictures.
Right.
And he had only one camera. And he took a lot of pictures in the first 2/3 of the ascent, and the cracks at the top.
Nothing.
He has no more film.
Right. Okay. So, Alain, what makes you decide to do this? Was there anyone else at the crag apart from Laurent? Do you come here with? Did you set off in the morning today? I will solo this climb.
I forgot a little bit. He was in Grenoble. Me, I was living in Valence. And then we spoke on the night before, and I told him, Laurent, I insist, if tomorrow, once we are there, I can still decide that I may not climb. I just wanted to keep it, I wanted to keep the freedom to say, okay, I won't do it today.
Right.
But actually, I did it. First of all, what I did, I climbed a 7/8, not free solo, but I didn't use any carabiner.
Yeah.
I went to the top. I put my rope into La Nuit du Lézards. I repeated all the moves.
Mm.
No, I asked a German guy who was working on the route. He kept on falling. He could hardly do one move without falling. He was like a very strong guy, full of muscles everywhere. And then suddenly I reached La Nuit des Lézards, and I'm not the one. Laurent, he asked him if he didn't mind removing his rope and all of his carabiners. So, because he said, my friend is going to climb it free solo, and he needs to do it before the sun come into the face.
Mm.
So he did it in a not in such a nice way, most likely thinking that this guy, what this guy is talking about, like.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of a historical moment, because it's like this guy was never ever going to bet on me, and of course Laurent is explaining, because he wrote a lot of articles about this story, and he said that after I climbed, the guy, he was like. He left the place completely disgusted.
Right. Disgusted by himself or by you?
Oh no, disgusted by himself, by like
Right.
fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, it's like I'm gonna throw my rope and my carabiners,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna climb again.
Right. And so to climb this, was it when you're on a climb like this, is your state of mind very relaxed, or is it focused, or is there nerves, or what?
I slipped in the cracks
Right.
at the top. My both foot, they lost like 1 cm maybe. Me, I felt it. Huh?
Mm.
I really I don't know, you know, at that very moment you know, you are fighting to stay alive.
Yeah.
You
Beautiful.
know that when there is so much at stake, you can be only good. If you're not good, you're dead. Then you better be good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And at that moment when your feet slip a little, is that a really interesting moment? Is it scary, or do you think, wow, this is brilliant? This is a.
It's too short. It's let's say it's scary, and it's Laurent, who had no more film, he saw it.
Mm.
He is describing it in many of his articles, like
Right.
like that's why, you know, like Alexander Huber, he said what Alain did, like free soloing La Nuit du Lézard, it's much more crazy than climbing Communist.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because
Or even free soloing Pol Pot. It's completely nuts.
yeah, yeah. Because it is a famously difficult climb, and the fall from the crux is certain death. Not certain death, but to survive would be a miracle. Is that right?
There is big boulders, and you know, at that time there was no crash pad. I was never going to put a mountain of crash pad or whatsoever.
No.
Thinking that for me, when I was free soloing, I was just thinking that if I fall, I am dead.
Mm. Nice. And so you've said you've free soloed 8B. Was the 8B shorter? Which is the on rock? Which is the
8B were maximum 30 meters.
Right.
But 30 meters with the difficulties close to the top.
Right. So your 8B would be more difficult than La Nuit.
That made it very serious. Yeah.
Right. Which climbs, or where were these climbs?
There is one in Amblaise. Amblaise, it's in Vercors.
Mm.
It's a compilation. And there is one I did in Cornas, which is a mixture of 3 routes.
Yeah.
And instead of being at first, it's a combination with a 7B plus, a 7C, and a 8A, and combine all together, it makes 8B.
Right. So it's quite long.
Really a crazy thing, because at first I was thinking sometimes that would be nice if one day I could make it this way, just with a rope. Huh?
Yeah.
I was trying hard, and I just, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get the moves, and no, that's why sometimes, when you are really motivated for doing something, you can achieve it. Of course, you need to train, you need to work hard, and the mental the mental power is. I am having it. I'm not saying that it came from day one, because as I told you at the beginning, it was really I was really afraid of height, but somehow I managed to overcome a lot of barriers in my mind.
So, Alain, people can famously train for climbing. You do one-arm pull-ups and work on the climb. Do you train your mind? Do you work on your do you actually work on your mental approach? Do you philosophize? Do you think about things to prepare yourself? Do you try to prepare your mind in any ways?
For me, it's not that complicated, because nowadays there is so long that I am used to it, free soloing, that it doesn't require any specific effort.
Okay.
I have it in. It's really into me. It's my life. Very often I'm meeting guys that are telling me, "Oh, the more I'm getting older, the more I'm afraid of height." As for me,
no,
nothing has changed.
Okay. So that German guy or your friend Laurent watching you slip, people might go, do people ever react badly, or are they ever judgmental about this risk that you put yourself through, whether that's your family or the people around you or your friends? Is there ever any judgment about this?
I heard it sometimes that people, they were kind of judgmental, like thinking I am going quietly for climbing, and I don't want to attend somebody who is dying next to me. I heard it.
Yeah, but
no, but as much as I could. In Verdun, for example, I like early morning because the temperature is better, and I like evening time.
Right. Okay.
And those are also the best moment, the best light, the best feeling when there is nobody. It's
solitude, nature.
Meaning it can be a circus. Yes, the circus, when I climb a Beerlings, yes, it's a circus.
Yeah.
Then I can be a showman. I can play with the crowds and everything. But when I'm free soloing in Verdun, it's like I like it this way, like early morning, evening time. I don't want bothering anyone.
Right. So okay, here's a question.
Because I understand those they are climbers. They are afraid already. They are climbing in Verdun. Even with a rope, for them it's not easy.
Yeah.
Then seeing a guy who is free soloing in Verdun, it's really bothering them.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
It's not their cliff. It's not mine either. But I try to respect people as much as I can.
Right. Okay. It sounds like you spend a lot of time in solitude, not in solitude, but in your own company. In terms of climbing, were you never part of a sort of larger climbing scene? Were you always more individual, more doing your own thing?
Yeah, but maybe first of all because I was not coming from the south of France. I was not coming from the north, so I was in the middle, and I got this terrible accident that completely put me aside, and I found into myself the strength, the stamina to fight back.
Right.
because the good thing is at the beginning I was not even targeting to come back the way I
Right.
was before I fell, but along the way I realized that actually there was no point about fixing some limits,
Yeah.
like the impossible of yesterday was becoming the possible today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it was a very good strategy because I was adding difficulties just like that, step by step.
Mm.
And then I was thinking, why should I should try maybe this route, maybe that should be doable free solo.
Mm.
And then I was training home or doing boulders or whatsoever, or climbing, of course, on the routes, and then I was doing it.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. And did you become famous beyond even climbing in France? Were you a famous sports personality? Did you achieve some fame through your activities?
At that time,
Yeah.
well, I was in the magazine like Vertical, like Grimper, like Alpinisme et Randonnée, but also Rodpunkt in Germany, Alp in Italy. I remember one, I think it was Marcos Colaris. He was uh, the chief editor of Alp.
Mm.
And then he came when I was free soloing 180 plus in Buoux.
Right.
And yes, he found it completely crazy,
Yeah.
because he also thought I was going to fall in the cracks.
Right. Because there's not, there have been famous soloists, and there seems as if there's famous soloists who climb at a very high level. John Becker, Dean Potter, Alex Honnold. But then there's no one. It feels like it's either very high level soloing or fairly low level soloing. It's almost like there's not many people doing it, and there's only people who do it really well. The Canadian.
Let's say I wouldn't say it's a problem. I did it before the internet.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I did it before. Now everyone is having a GoPro. Everyone is having a cell phone. Everyone can show you one ascent, one cut. So meaning nowadays it is offering multiple possibilities, which 40 years back, 30 years back, we didn't have such a thing.
No, sure. Okay, so what about the buildings, Alan? When did the climbing buildings come in?
Climbing buildings, came along the way, which actually I also don't regret, because it came in '94, and at that time I also, people sometimes are asking me, "Are you afraid of something?" And I'm saying, yes, I'm afraid of myself, because I am a very volunteer person, and I know that deep down, if I am having an idea on my mind, I'm not gonna change my mind. I'm gonna do it, whatever is the outcome. And I know that at that period in my life, I was really pushing the envelope far too much and far too often. So one day or another, I was going to fall. I was going to die.
Right.
And then this story about climbing buildings came as a kind of a break,
a way out from that.
Yeah, actually, yes, because otherwise I was not going to exceed it.
Yeah,
I was going to search for my limit.
Right. And so in a way, the climbing the buildings felt less dangerous somehow.
Yes. Well, when you are climbing buildings like Framatome or Areva, it's like a 180 meters crags and without any horizontal frame. And in a way, it's also damn, it's very extreme.
Right. It seems pretty extreme. I mean, I imagine some
I
are very...
am having few friends who are climbing buildings, but for them, Areva is just like unthinkable.
The which one?
Areva, me when I climbed it, the name was Framatome. And then once somebody is buying more stories on the building, they can change the name. So
what building is it? Sorry, where is this?
In La Défense in Paris.
Okay, right. And that was your first huge building climb?
No, that was the hardest one I climbed. Well,
okay.
I did climb four very hard buildings. I climbed the Areva, I climbed the Holiday Inn in Johannesburg, and I climbed the Sears Tower in Chicago, and I climbed the Blue Cross in Philadelphia.
Right.
And those are really the hardest one I climbed in my life.
Why are they difficult? What makes those difficult?
Because you cannot rest.
Right.
You know, if you don't have any horizontal frame, it means that once you start climbing, you need to go on and on and on until you are reaching the top.
Right. Wow. And I'm presuming that they're slightly dynamic moves, are they, without any horizontal? You have to...
sometimes the problem is that the crags is narrowing, or, you know, even though you're only losing 5 or 6 millimeters, then it becomes more complicated, and it's, you know, sometimes I'm watching some of the videos and I can see that I'm trying, not desperately, because I wasn't desperate, but I am in a big shit.
Yeah, you're actually trying. You're trying hard.
Exactly. I am far away. I am more than 100 meters above the ground.
Yeah.
And then I am in serious difficulties. And I'm still having another 100 meters above my head.
Huh.
And there is without possible rest.
Yeah. And there's... this is on site, obviously totally on site. You've never experienced these buildings before.
Yeah, you know, like I did climb, you know, on site some crags in Indian Creek in the US, and they were, for me, it's kind of similar.
Yeah. And do you run the risk of...
Yeah, sometimes people are telling me, you know, you are repeating, but if you are climbing some of the routes in Indian creeks, you are also repeating the same move on and on and on. Sometimes the crags is larger, sometimes narrower. So some finger jam are better, sometimes they are bad, and that's the way how it works.
Right, okay. And so you just stand at the bottom and decide, I'm going to climb this one. And there's all sorts of aspects to this. There could be more than rock. There could be loose sections because there's some sections not properly attached. Does that ever happen where...
There is this thing also happening. There is actually other problems that you can meet, like it can be dirty, it can be greasy, it can be... I told you, those structures, maybe from far away, they look like perfect, but they are not.
Yeah.
And you know it. Well, nowadays, I am studying it with binoculars. I know if I will be encountering difficulties, but or like when I climbed the Petronas in Kuala Lumpur, on the 87th story, suddenly the 87th story is a double size compared than the other one.
Right.
Which I didn't see it in 12 years. 2 failed attempts. I have checked the building, I don't know how many times, using binoculars, going in some neighboring buildings where there is observation deck with big binoculars and everything, and I didn't see it. Only the day I was on the 87th story, I just thought, fuck, I am fucked up, and I did fight very hard to make it.
Fuck. Shit, man, that's amazing. And the exposure must be incredible also because it's so flat, huh?
I got this kind of a story. I encountered it not a lot, but like maybe 10, 15 times in my life.
Right. So, Alain,
fortunately, it's not every day because maybe I would stop climbing.
Yeah. So from the 1994, did you shift your focus away from rock altogether towards buildings? I know you might still climb.
I climbed Pol Pot in 96.
Right, okay, yeah. 7C plus and single pitch, but a long single pitch in Verdun.
It's 50 meters. Actually, it's two pitches. There is a 7C plus and a 6C.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay. And so you're in this world where you climb buildings. What becomes your motivation here? Do you look at pictures throughout the world of buildings and look for ones that aesthetically inspire you?
At the very beginning, I found it magical because the first time I landed in Chicago, I was wow. I was really impressed
by the Sears.
And seeing the Sears Tower looks like seeing a giant Dark Vador that is nearly close to half kilometer, and for me it looks completely impossible. And then along the way, I understood that actually plenty of those buildings could be possible, and I have loved it because, and I still love it because I started to see my life differently, traveling a lot, opening myself to people. I was no longer that solitary person. Before I was nearly introvert.
Yeah.
And I became maybe even more extrovert than normal people.
Right.
Maybe because I am close to 60. In 6 months, I will be 60 years old, and I don't give a fuck anymore about anything and anyone. Meaning, with due respect. If people they don't like me, then it's okay. I am passing my road, and you are passing yours, and okay, we are not friends. That's it.
Yeah. So
if you don't like my snake's outfit, then close your eyes. Do something. I don't care.
Yeah. Where did all the snake outfit come? Because that became the way you dressed became part of your what we saw of you, didn't it? Your different styles of cowboy boots, of snakeskin suits.
Along the way, I started to be dressed up with snakes. The first time I went to Dallas, I bought some nice cowboy boots, and then I also started to buy a leather outfit. I bought also in Moab, in the Utah, and along the way, now since I live in Bali, here you can buy snakeskin easily. You can get it tailored. You can choose the color of your skin, and this one is interesting. It's although this one is only the vest, but with the name of one of my sponsor, Dead Man Fingers.
Right. What do they make? What do Dead Man's Fingers make?
They are doing spicy rum.
Right. Okay. Very good.
Flavored spicy rum. Yeah. But it's good because they are following me now for a few years. We have signed again for another 2 years. So it means that at the age of 62, I will be still making a living from sponsors.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is quite incredible because people usually they are not sponsored at that age. At that age, they are having a long white beard. They are seated in an armchair discussing with their grandkids about what they've done.
40 years ago. Yeah. So, Alain, back to that. What makes you want to climb certain buildings? Do you look at photographs and think, "Fuck, look at that"?
Yeah,
That's the one.
photos or videos. You know, nowadays with internet, it's easy to find it on YouTube and
Yeah.
yes, but you know, I'm not stupid. I know that my best career is backwards. It's
Right.
30 years ago.
And for the buildings, you need fitness. They're physically demanding.
Oh yeah, I'm climbing, you know, pretty much on a daily basis. You know,
Yeah.
here in Bali, I am having. I made this wall,
Oh yeah. Is this your
and
house?
yeah, it allows me, you know, to train on a daily basis. Or
Yeah.
I go also. There is some. There is one climbing gym in Canggu. There is a few little spots which is possible to train.
Right. And so,
But yeah, more or less every day I need to climb. You know, sometimes I am amazed because I think I am close to be 60 and I can still stay completely upside down up to 5 minutes
yeah, yeah,
holding grips.
cool.
It's like because you know I do a lap, I come back without going down, and until I have zero, I have no more power. I
Yeah.
don't use crash pads.
Yeah.
I fell a few times. So really, I got problems. Even one day, I broke my skull falling from my climbing wall.
Right.
But it's the same. When I'm training, I like it to be also a bit serious.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that you don't use crash pads.
Yeah, you know, I am sponsored by Boreal for like nearly 40 years.
Wow. Cool. Does your climbing of buildings make you appreciate cities in a certain way? Because the way you look at things will change, won't it? If your interests are very certain, do you look at buildings and look at cities and think, oh, that's an interesting one, that's a beautiful one, or that one's not so interesting? Do you have thoughts like that when you see buildings?
Yeah, I can still fall in love for certain buildings and thinking this one I really want to make it before I die.
Right. Do you have favorite architects? Do you think about architects?
It's not so much about architect.
No.
Yeah, sometimes it appears that it is the same architects, but that's not the point. Actually, it's more about loving something or not, like like a root or like a woman, or it works like that.
Right. And have you ever? What's the closest you've come to? Was it that description of the double floor? Is that the closest you've come to falling on a building? Or have you
times I slipped and I managed to hold my body, and it's like it's something that it doesn't last. It lasts like a split of second, like you are dead, and but you manage not to fall.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the kind of it's really a tough warning.
So well, the other thing is
it is disturbing me, but I am having the ability to refocus.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the other thing about climbing,
I would say that maybe it's not that difficult to refocus because this is a survival instinct. If you are not refocusing, you are dead. If you are not doing your best to finish it, you are dead. Then the best way you can do it is to fucking refocusing and kicking your ass and doing it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the other thing about buildings is it's generally not legal, and so you have to work with cops or against cops or security forces. And what's that been like? Has that been a very negative side of your experience? Police forces and the way people treat you?
No, most of the time it's kind of okay, you know.
Yeah.
Only in the US, in Australia, in the UK as well, they are much tougher. Or in China, but in China it's okay. At least they are not discussing. They put you in jail and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting because I discovered that in jail there is very interesting people too, and we are always thinking because we are taught that in jail there is the bad guys, there is the criminal, and blah blah blah. But actually, there is a lot of very nice people who made mistakes, or you take a good example in China. If this Nobel Peace Prize, who died 3 years back or 4 years back, just because he had ideas on democracy, he got imprisoned. And even though he got the Nobel Peace Prize, he hasn't been allowed to collect it.
Right. Yeah.
He died with a Nobel Peace Prize without even going outside jail. So it's a very sad story.
Sure. Oh,
but
beautiful.
Nowadays the problem is there is too much interest with China, and then everybody is kind of shutting their eyes about the way Xi Jinping is behaving, because there is too much at stake. Once again, this is the fucking money who is ruling the world.
And when you go to China, you witness what's happening here. You get a feeling for what they're doing.
No, in China, in a funny way, I climbed also officially. I climbed in the Tianmen Mountain in the Hunan province. I climbed the 7-8, was live on a big TV network. And now they built my statue in 2018.
Okay.
If you put on Google Alain Robert China statue, you will find a lot of pictures.
Right. Alain, did you record a record? Did you make a single? A song?
Oh, yeah. I climbed the world. Yeah, but unfortunately, I did it with my manager and also John Parr, but we did it at the beginning of the COVID. So until now, it is not very successful.
Right. John Parr is a famous musician, isn't he?
Well, he got some Grammy awards, but back to 93. So it's like
rock musician.
Yeah. At least I will send you this I Climb the World on WhatsApp, and also maybe a couple of my videos.
Yeah, lovely. And any more plans in the immediate future, Alain? Any big buildings on the horizon?
Yeah, well, I will be going back to Europe in April, May, and then doing a tour, like climbing in France, in Spain, maybe in Germany, maybe in Poland, a few places for sure.
Right, okay. Alain,
I wish also to do something again in the US.
Right. I think it's really amazing what you've done. I think it's, knowing how well you've climbed in rock shows me how cool the building climbing is, because I understand it's not just a stunt. It's a real difficult physical, mental thing you're doing. So I think for me, it makes it such a more interesting thing than someone I didn't know anything about. So I think it's really cool, the building climbs you've done, and it's always been good to follow these. So and I've also really loved how individual you seem to have been throughout the whole thing, because it's such a fine thing to see, individuality in this world. So it's really cool. And yes, it's an honor to speak to you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. As I told you, I am having plenty of demands for podcast, and I am really selecting. If I feel like I did this Brian Rose. What's the name? London Reel.
Yeah.
This was really great as well. The guy did Jimmy Chin before.
Right. Yeah.
So he had already a lot of knowledge about climbing and everything. So that was interesting. Otherwise, sometimes I went to some big TV shows, like seeing Jay Leno or David Letterman or that kind of people, but it's very shallow, very superficial.
Yeah. And they probably just think you're crazy. Maybe they just try and make a joke because you're crazy or something.
Yeah. This is what they do. Actually, they are joking. And okay, people are saying it's good for your image, it's good for sponsors and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So, what you have to understand and what people they have to understand is that I still make a living by climbing.
Yeah.
So, I am having a little boy, 7 years old. Here, my wife doesn't work. Here, it's difficult to get a job. The paycheck is lousy. You don't imagine you need to pay your healthcare insurance. You need to pay for everything.
Yeah. And I looked at your website. You do lots of, or I don't know if you do lots, but you do some corporate speaking.
Yeah. This I love it. I have one in Marbella quite soon, and I have another one in Cannes.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna try to make it the same trip.
Right.
And also climbing 3 different buildings. So like this, I am leaving home for like 2 months, and then I can do all together.
And during these talks, what's the point you're trying to make when you do these talks?
It's like it can be banks, it can be pension funds, it can be insurance companies. I'm just talking about my life. I am motivating people. I'm just explaining, ways how I did manage to overcome difficulties, to be bold. About the mindset, about having goals, having targets, achieving. There is nothing more frustrating in life than dying and thinking, "Fuck, I just didn't do anything with my life."
And you feel you have anything left that's eating you up still.
Sorry?
Is there anything left that still you really want to do?
No. Well, no, yeah, there is still one thing which I am on it, but I still don't know when we're gonna start. It's to make a nice movie with a decent budget,
Right.
like Alex he did with Free Solo. Because I did many documentaries, including with Channel 4 and so on, but it was not very high budget documentaries. So, and there is really something, and especially now that I am reaching 60, I'm still active. My way of thinking has changed from the moment I was 15 years old until now. So there is a lot to tell to people. I am interested in a lot of things, in politics, in humanitarian actions, and a lot of things. My vision of the world, my vision of the life is much broader than it used to be when I was younger.
Yeah. Good. Well, Alain, it's been an honor to speak to you. And thank you for telling us about your life.
That's my pleasure too.
Yeah. I'm glad you accepted my invitation. It's been really good. Beautiful.
So we are following each other on Instagram, and I will be sending you a few videos or photos for your podcast. Okay?
Excellent. Merci, Alain.
And when are you planning to put it online?
Very soon.
Okay.
Next 2 weeks.
Yeah.